This world is built of collaboration.
Profound experiences.
Create as scientists. Putting yourself out there.
Where we can do something new.
It's really beautiful.
How do you not want to be a part of that?
April of last year.
Yeah, we're in January somehow again.
It was the first early career leadership academy.
Yes, the in-person meeting in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, definitely. How was that?
Well, for starters, this was the inaugural class, so it was really exciting and fascinating to be a part of this thing that was just taking off, and kind of everyone was kind of figuring out how it went. And kudos to the team that planned it. I think they did a fantastic job. So we had a couple of calls, webinars. We had some speakers that spoke about diversity, equity, and inclusion, which was very, very eye-opening on a lot of different levels.
What do you think you learned about leadership?
It's not what I thought.
How so?
To be honest, I feel like ECLA humanized leadership for me. I guess I had it in my head that to be a leader, you had to be kind of high and mighty and authoritative and dictative.
Right.
That's not at all what I took away from ECLA. It's more about being a human, being a person that you can connect to, about building others up around you, about making sure their light is shining just as brightly as your light. So it was very, very eye-opening in a lot of different ways, and I've definitely taken a lot of what was learned into my personal life and professional life as well.
What you were describing was so warm and collaborative.
Yeah, and I'm so glad I was able to take that away and come away with this view of leadership that I truly feel I can embody.
How did that understanding of leadership evolve given your 2-day in-person activities?
The improv really helped kind of humanize all of us and bring us down to this level. And then from there, we sort of figured out what each of our strengths were, how we could take my strength and give someone else that advice for their particular needs. We talked a lot about in our peer mentoring groups about a struggle that we were having in our professional life, perhaps something we could use advice on. And we came into the in-person meeting with this in the back of our minds, to have an open discussion. And so it was really interesting to see how my very unique situation could somehow be helpful to someone else's also very unique situation, and how we're all not that much different.
What are some of the differences that you experienced that you were surprised by?
I think probably the one that's maybe the most different for me was professors. I'm not an academic. I never have been except for being a student. And so to get their perspective, particularly on their views on mentoring, because they're professors, so they're mentoring students every day, that was really helpful for me as I take on more roles of mentorship.
I love what you're saying, because I think one of the things we don't often get to have or know that we can create is the caring and the thoughtfulness, and in some ways like a tenderness in the midst of doing hard science, right? Or taking on serious challenges. So I'm appreciating how you're speaking about that. I think it's very lovely.
Thank you. And it's kind of just me generally. We talked briefly a little bit about the mental health aspect, and that's very, very important to me. So much of our job is science and data and facts, but we tend to forget there are humans, that are doing the forecast, but then humans that are impacted, and then we see those impacts. And so it just kind of ties it all together. I think there is a leadership aspect of that as well, to be a leader that steps up and says, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay to be struck by things that you see in the field. Definitely. So I think that helped as well during ECLA. We all were very real with each other, especially in the peer mentoring, especially after the improv science, where we were forced to be silly and goofy and have fun and kind of let go of the shell that we may have had coming in, kind of protective. I think you even said that actually at one point, you have a wall up, we have to break down that wall, something along those lines.
Yeah, it's pretty much that we spend our professional lives creating a performance and a role that we bring with us, and then it's hard to, I think I said it earlier today in the conference, it's so then we say, oh, here's my data, don't talk to me, here's my data, and so how do we bring ourselves out, and then using the improv as a way of socially connecting.
It's putting yourself out there in a very vulnerable way, and it's not easy to do, but when you do it in a fun way, it somehow just happens.
And this is a big part of why I started Improv Science as well, is it is the environments that we create that impact us in our lives. and we don't always know how to change those environments, but we can. And I think your work of bringing mental health issues out as a part of the normal conversation of people being emotional human beings who are doing science, right? I think it's
Yeah.
important. I'm glad you're providing that leadership to us.
Yeah, it's a little scary, but it's been rewarding. So, and I'm appreciative of the skills that I was able to learn in ECLA that have sort of helped me go down that path and continue. So thank you.
You're welcome.